Hello, welcome back to more Ikoku Nikki, Journal of Witch, episode 12 now, the penultimate episode of Ikoku Nikki. As far as I'm aware, they are wrapping everything up this season. I am aware also that the manga differs slightly. They've changed some things, cut some stuff out. So I think I'll end up reading the manga at some point. I don't know if that's something people would be interested in on the channel, but I'll do it in my own time regardless. Maybe I'll do like a little review on it, maybe comparing it to the anime, especially since I reacted to it. So yeah, penultimate episode now. Last episode we kind of had Asa realise what she needs to do, and that is just do what she wants, like not overthink it too much, like let herself feel what she wants to feel and speak how she wants to speak and do what she wants to do, that kind of thing. And the episodes prior to that have been really good in building that up, and the whole like feel and structure of the previous like 3 episodes, following on from the acceptance of her parents' death and now her like coming into her own and really becoming her own person. Now that she's sort of moving beyond what happened with her parents has been really good. Just the whole feel and structure and everything of it. I wonder if we will continue on with that with these final 2 episodes. Maybe obviously we'll definitely have like aspects of it here and there, but I wonder if that will be the main focus or not going forward, or that kind of little song we had at the end from her kind of resolved that. We'll see. Let's just get straight into it. Episode 12, let's go. This sounds like me, I'm sure. Some of the high notes weren't great, but he actually kind of hit that at the end.
オーディションだっつの。
ははおもろ。実質遊びだな。
はい、あと誰かいる？
It's a hard song to sing. Oh, go on, Asa. I wasn't sure if she was actually going to sing or
はい。
just...
じゃあ、たくみさん。
She wasn't going to do it, but I guess now.
マキオちゃんがいなかったら私軽音とかやんなかったかも。
それはないでしょう。決めたのはあなたで。
Yeah, and you've
どこ
made
で
this decision
誰といても
yourself.
本当にやりたければ
To go up on
あ
that
なたは
stage.
そうしたと思うよ。
お父さんとお母さんならなんて言ったかな。
なんだろうね。考えてみれば。
想像してみる。
やだ、どうしたのその髪。
もう朝の好きにすればいい。
She has an idea of how they might have responded.
今ならなんて言うだろう。答えは
But it's not something that
少
will
しもわからない。
weigh her down as it might have used to.
なんだか目立ってたね。
あなた目立つのが好きなの？きちんと目立つって努力の上に成り立つことでしょ？
目立つのっていいこと悪いこと？やっぱりなんかすり合ってないっていうかキャラじゃないっていうか。
Feel that.
キャラ？どうでもよくない？全部後悔したな。だってそんなことばっかり考えてるうちに
Yeah, this
自
scene.
分が本当どうしたいのか
Will it show it again?
わかんなくなっちゃったんだもん。
何もわからない。
目立ったせいで誰かに文句を言われたらぶっ殺せ。
そっちもよくわからない。
でもどうせなら苦しんで生きたいでしょ。
Oh, she steals her chocolate.
何言ってるか全然わかんない。わからないから。とにかく私は。
Might as well try. Might as well struggle. Into the OP? No. Into the OP. Nice.
え、ランチ？
みたい、うちのママと。
ま？
What?
だから出かけたのか。
意外と仲いい。
I always find it
こっち
nice
に遊び
when
に来る？
your parents of your friends get along as well.
オッケー。
It's quite cute.
暇。
何度も通ったのに。この
Find.
店目に入ってなかった。いいですね。広くて明るくて。
でしょ。静かではないけど混んでても座れるし。
ハンバーグ惹かれる。
いいわよ、お肉ギュッとしてて。
ビール。
あ、いいわよね、昼間からビール。なんか背徳的で頼んじゃおう。
わはは、悪、加担しよう。遺品整理に来た時、朝とここに寄ればよかったな。
大変だった？
まあ、
どのくらいかかるものなの
1週間。いや、もうちょっとかかったかな。
そう。
よく考えたらその
That
時
feels so
に
long ago.
奈良さんのお宅にご挨拶に伺うこともできたんです
Like
ね。
for us.
何も思いつかなかった。
いいわよ、そんなの。あの頃は私も混乱してたから。マキオさんの顔を見たらそれだけで泣いていたかも。
姉に似てるから。
お顔立ちはね。
うわ、
亡くなった人が不意に目の前に現れた気がして何かグラッとする感じ。あの頃だったらちょっと怖かったかなって思う。
私も
Wow, yeah.
前よりは減ったかな、そういう感覚。
In the first episode. That is true, yeah.
まだ
We haven't-
少し時間がかかると思うけど。
Wow. I didn't even think about that. We haven't seen that in a minute. Hey.
どうも。おう。偶然こっちの方で面談がありまして。
そうですか。俺もたまたま人の見舞いに。
Dad.
じゃあ偶然に偶然が重なったと。
まあよかったです、お誘いして。
ええ、二度とないことかもしれませんし。あ、決していやいや来ているわけでは。
大丈夫ですよ、分かってます。
はい、日替わり定食の方。
はい。
シェアするのが苦手だと飲み会とか大変そうですね。
ええ、今は自由な事務所なのでいいのですが、大学なんかは大変でした。かなり。
ああ、大学は飲み会も多いですしね。
俺の酒が飲めないのかみたいなのも大嫌いで、私。
わかります。私も嫌いでのらりくらりやり過ごしてましたけど、先生、やり過ごすのも苦手そうですよね。
そうなんです。でもやられるたびにいちいち怒っていたら誰からも誘われな
Yeah,
く
and
な
then
り
it
ま
makes
した。
him seem like he's the bad guy, but
結果的に良かったのでは？
そうなんですよね。当時はそれなりに不服に感じたりもしたんですが、でも私は常にそういうものから無視される方でラッキーだったなと思います。空気の読めないガリ勉なので。
そういうもの。
男社会の洗礼みたいなものです。
2年生になる者は上級生だという自覚を持ち、3年生と新入生をつなぐ橋渡しとしてプレーだけでなく生活指導の面でも手本となるよう気合を入れ直してもらいたい。以上。ストップ。
そういえば朝さんのことなんですが、先日の面談でなりたい自分になるにはどうすればいいのかというような質問をされまして。
へえ、なりたい自分。青春だな。それなんて答えたんで
yeah,
す
how
か？
do you answer that?
いや、それが何を言っているのかわからなかったので、何を言っているのかわかりませんと。
うわ、ひで
ひどかったですか？
え。あ、いや、面白くはありますけど。
面白い。
So not the answer she wanted.
なりたい自分ね。
どう答えるべきだったんでしょうか？
なりたい自分。
そうか。
ん？
そんな風に構えればよかったのか。大前自弱となさってますよね。
Yeah.
私がですか？全然そんなこと。
なさってますよ。
そうしてりゃいいんですけどね。もしそう見えてるんだとしたら、あれかな。さっきおっしゃったあれから降りたからかもしれません。
あれ、
男社会の洗礼とでも言うのか。もうその土俵には乗らないと決めたら、急にいろんなことが楽になったんです。
Yeah.
より危ないことをしたやつが勝ち、より女の子を物扱いできたやつが勝ち、より楽をしていい目を見たやつが勝ち。本当はプレッシャーで死にそうなのに冷笑して、そこしか知らなくて、そこから落ちたら終わりだと思って必死にしがみついて、他にいくらでもなっていい自分はあったし、そんなチキンレースで自分の価値を試す必要なんてなかったのに。
男なら泣くんじゃない。
そこから降りて逃げて、やっと人間になれたというか、芯が持てたというか。
Definitely want to talk about that.
君に合わせるよ。
私は好きにするんだから、あなたも好きにしなよ。
今まで周りに合わせて生きてきたから。
Surprising to hear.
だからこうしかなれないっていう人に憧れるんです。自分というものがある人に。
あ、それが広大さんですか。
え？
広大さんなんですね。
ええ、まあ。
はあ、なるほど。
また行きましょう、昼間ビール。
もちろん。
朝ちゃんがうちに泊まるのを遠慮なさらないでね。私も少しでも力になりたいから。
ありがとうございます。でも、なんというか、時間はかかると思いますが、一つ一つ確かめながら、あの子なりに見つけていくしかないんだ
Yeah,
と
it's
思い
not
ます。
just an epiphany, it all comes at
あの
once.
子なり
It's
の答えを。
a gradual
よかっ
process.
た。
え？
朝ちゃん、あなたがいて本当によかった。
なりたい自分。朝さんもずっと追求してったら、そのうち泰然自若するのかな。
それは見てみたいですね。
ね。楽しみだ。
開かれたページの上に一人見回せど見えないあても出口も。あ、うるさい？
うん。
Yeah,
う
she's
まい
really
な
good.
と思って。愛されることに屈託はないのに、長所を褒められるのは座りが
I
悪い。
don't know how to accept compliments.
わかんない。
They feel weird.
部活で歌う曲？
そう、始業式の次の日。
Wonder if we'll actually see that.
昼休みと
Got a thing for a
放課後
final
に
episode
歌
to
うだけ
talk
だ
about,
よ。
but
いいじゃん。
we'll see.
ねえ、
え？
作詞のことなんだけどさ。
お、
なんでこの話題そんな好きなの？
人がものづくりに手を出そうとしてると嬉しくなる。
わかんない。
で、
どうやったら上手くなるの？
え？
いや、一応まだ諦めてないから。
好きな詩を書き写してみるとか、写経みたいに。
For inspiration.
あなた日記書いてるじゃない。あれを意識的に書いてみるのもいいんじゃない？
意識的って？マキオちゃんさ、前に日記に本当のことを書かなくてもいいって言ったじゃない。
え？
日記1年前。
言った？
はあ？
言ったのか。
なんかいいこと聞いたと思ったのに。
じゃあよかったじゃないですか。
Yeah.
台無しだよ。それって例えば部活のストリートライブで失敗するとするじゃん。
やめな、演技でもない。
例えばそれをさ、失敗しなかったみたく書いてもいいってこと？
I mean, you could, but would you feel Would you feel good doing that?
それだと読み返した時にかえって失敗のことを思い出さない。
そうかも。
嘘を書けってことじゃないんだよな、多分。
Yeah, not like explicitly
本
like
当のこと
that.
を書かなくていいって言ったのか、私は。
だいたいそんな感じ。
それはつまり何を書くかより何を書かないかってことなんじゃない？知らんけど。
Yeah, just like not the whole truth.
だって覚えてないもん。まあなんすか、自分を偽る嘘じゃなけりゃいいんじゃないすか。
Yeah, pretty
変な
much.
の。嘘ってついちゃいけないものなんじゃないの？
Not necessarily.
こっちとら嘘で飯食ってんだわ。
変なの。ライブ失敗したらどうしよう。
演技でもないこと言いなさんな。
歌れんだけだからそんなに遅くならないと思う。
はーい。
じゃあ行ってきまー
どうした？
あのさ、お母さんの日記には真実だけが書いてあると思う？
どうした？
Huh.
って聞いてもマキオちゃんは答えないよね。
え？
なんでもない、どうせわかんないし。行ってきまーす。
いってらっ
Interesting.
しゃい。なんというか時間はかかると思いますが、一つ一
Yeah, that's
つ確
something
かめなが
in
ら
the past she might have
あの子な
asked.
りに見つけていくしかないんだと思います。あの子なりの答えを。
Nice.
なんてあるのかな、答えなんて。
This episode feels very nice. Like, it's a very feel good episode. Oh, look at them. Oh. Oh. Feels like everyone's moving towards a good place. This track is really interesting. Oh, the reverb and the... Hey, is that Chi-Chi? Maybe not everyone's finding answers.
朝上がったよ。ん？朝どうした？
お、マキオちゃん、見て見て。
Ah,
すごい。ああ、どうしたのこれ。
部屋にしようと思って。
どうやって揃えたの？
だいたい100均。そのランタンは少し高いかな。ちょっと前から少しずつね。
ah.
あ、壁に棚つけたいんだけど、いい？
あ、うん。いいよいいよ。いや、すまんね。個室がなくて。
別にそれは仕方ないし。
っていうかすごいな。自由に使ってとは言ったけどまさかこうなるとは。こりゃ5点だ。え、この中で寝るの？
それも考えたんだけど、
Yeah, too small.
足伸ばせないし。寝るのは今まで通りここで。
そっか。
邪魔だった？
慣れた。
Oh,
そうか。
look at them, man.
こうやって少しずつあなたはあなたの暮らしを築いていくんだな。
また難しいこと言って。そうだ。あれ考えたんだけどさ、誕生日にするっていうのは？お父さんとお母さんの。
誕生日？
なんか死んじゃった日のことは わざわざ嫌だから。
ご両親が亡くなってからももうすぐ1年に、もしそれに際してあなたのやりたいことがあるならそれも。
お父さんとお母さんって誕生日が近くて、いつも真ん中バースデーだったの。最初に仲良くなったきっかけもそれだったんだって。
姉さんは4月10日、お父さんは
4月13日。
Oh yeah, very close.
本当に近いね。
うん。
そうか。
It's coming up
どうか
in
な。
real life too.
じゃあ4月11か12、素敵なケーキを買ってきてろうそくも立てて私たちでお祝いしよう、2人の誕生日を。この案はすごくいいと思う。すごく。
本当？
うん、すごくいい。
There's something really mature about it. Huh.
マキオちゃん？
お風呂入ってきてご飯作る。
はーい。
I think like Machia realizing the progress Asa's made. It's
不
quite.
思議だ。親でもない。
Yeah, she feels a certain way about it. Wow.
私も私の孤独に水をやり続けていれば、夜更けに花咲くものもあるのだろうか。
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful sequences. The last like 5 minutes or so.
まもなく3番線に電車が参ります。危ないですから黄色い線までお下がりください。
I feel like I've said this for the last few episodes now, but the show post Asa accepting her grief has just been so pleasant and just so chill and comforting. Watching Asa sort of find her way slowly, step by step, and now this episode really seeing Asa seeing the fruits of her efforts, seeing the progress that she's made, and having us see that through Makio as well was really, really good. I had something I was just about to say and I instantly forgot it. That's annoying. But yeah, we started off the sequence a lot of just looking back. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I've also noticed, I've only just noticed this now about this show, but it ends, every episode ends on a really poignant note, on a really strong note, that leaves you thinking about the final scene. Like every episode I've felt like, I'm like, that the last scene happens and I'm like my brain is like going as it ends, as the ED starts to play. The show's really good at that, and good at doing that without it being like a abrasive cliffhanger that is purposefully like grabbing onto you and trying to make sure you stay for the next episode, sort of thing. Just another way this show sort of is very subtle and quiet in its qualities, in its structural and production qualities. I hope that makes some sort of sense. But yeah, we get this sort of sequence kind of recapping a bit at the end of the last episode as Asa then goes up to sing herself. She makes this decision herself. When previously last episode we saw her talking about how she doesn't want to sing. Maybe because she was worried about standing out, worried about what that meant, how people would perceive her in that way, and then obviously we get that conversation at the end with Makio and the friend where she sort of realises that it's not necessarily a bad thing to stand out. Yeah, I'm going to sing into the OP, great stuff. I also only just noticed this episode. I knew already the beginning of the OP had where it had the journal with which I can assume that's what this says in different languages, yeah. But that's like obviously representing the like foreign lands and that theme we've had going on, the visuals. We even had it going on with the dialogue at some point, and now Asa felt like distant from other people and was trying to understand other people and struggling with that. That's what this is. I've only just kind of clocked what all that meant, but yeah, I just wanted to point that out quickly as well. I like to seeing Asa on her own as well, and not like in her own head and really struggling and agonizing on her own. Like she's alone, but she's not feeling loneliness. It's nice to see that depicted as well. And again, another thing that I didn't really notice is how Makio stopped seeing like physical images of her sister. Like she stopped appearing for us and Makio. It's not something I put together that just because it stopped appearing for us, it's not just Asa, it's also Makio related as well. That's where we've been seeing her. The show's, I realised as well, the show's just incredibly efficient at characterising the cast in short spaces of time. Like this conversation between these two, the previous conversation between Makio and I've forgotten her mother's name. But yeah, it's just super efficient in its dialogue and the visuals to match that as well. It feels like a lot of the time spent in this show isn't like groundbreaking drama or overly melodramatic sort of stuff. It all feels very purposeful. It's going to be a weird comparison because I was going to compare this to Maigo with how efficient the interactions feel and the character writing feels. Obviously Maigo is a very different drama to this one, but I think they both have that efficiency, and that word makes it seem a bit more like a product, which I don't like, but efficiency feels like the best way to describe the sort of the way it's being written and how just both natural and I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for is, but while the show feels incredibly natural, you can also feel the writer really honing it in every single scene. Every single scene feels so thoughtful and meaningful and purposeful, and I think Maigo is very similar in that way as well. You can look back on a lot of Maigo scenes after finishing the show and things make a lot more sense, and you see why they're there. It's not just, oh, this scene is here because it's funny, or it's like, it's just, there's a lot of shows that might have a lot of fluff in them, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but the supposed sort of fluff and filler stuff that people might not equate to as sort of these big character moments or big drama and big plot points that contribute to the conflict and stuff like that. They feel really purposeful and meaningful and thoughtful, and I really appreciate that because these sort of quiet moments like this contribute largely to the show and the theme and the plots. And I meant to say the themes and the plot, not the theme and the plots. And the characters. It's really, really good. It's interesting to see how two guys get together like this and talk about the sort of toxic masculinity that they both managed to escape. I like the wording here. The male-centric rituals is a really interesting way to put it. I couldn't tell. Oh, this is from the Yoshimura was the is it baseball they're playing? Yeah, baseball. The guy that we saw in the previous episode, and we saw him a bit after, and he seems to be sort of moving away from that now. And I like how we know nothing about this guy apart from this. Like, it's just a little story being told that that encapsulates our two characters way in the future. I think the show's really good at that, having characters that are kids and characters that are adults in the future, and not like explicitly paralleling them, but like showing that these are versions of yourself, of these characters in the future that have taken this path or done this thing instead of doing this thing, sort of thing, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's a funny scene. Yeah, hopping off the bandwagon, male-centric rituals, the toxic masculinity. As someone who lives in the UK, this is very prevalent. Sort of, it is funny because I went to the pub today and had some drinks and watched the football, but like that, going to the pub, having some drinks, watching the football, and then it's what comes along with that, the sort of conversations and stuff that come along with that. I mean, I'm older now. I don't obviously engage in that sort of stuff anymore. But when you're growing up, you feel like that is the group you have to align yourself with, because that's just what everyone's doing, is playing these video games, listening to this kind of music, watching the football, drinking, eventually betting, talking about girls in a certain way, being engaged in like not even romantic, like just sexual relationships. It's all stuff that is just expected of a boy that age. And as someone who has also hopped off the bandwagon, similar to Kasamachi, and I've forgotten his name. Shindo's in my head, but I don't think that's his name. As someone who's also hopped off the bandwagon, it is something that, as Kasamachi said, it really makes you feel human. What's the line he said exactly? What was it? I'm not sure, but yeah, he said something along the lines of just, it makes you feel human. And it feels like a weight off your shoulder. It feels like you're able to truly be yourself. And I think that's something I'd certainly relate to. When I was growing up, like, when I was probably up to the age of like 14, when you like 13, 14, when you enter secondary school in the UK, I would read lots of books and draw and play Pokemon. Those three things, unfortunately, aren't like that typical of a boy in secondary school. And it's not like I experienced any sort of bullying related to that, or any sort of like mockery or pressures to not do that. I luckily was with a very like great group of friends throughout school, and still are with a lot of them. But when you're at that age and everyone else has interests and you don't have those interests, you naturally want to align with them. That's what most people do anyway. I'm very envious and impressed that there are people that age that are able to not succumb to that flow and that air. That reminds me of another show that used those words. It might be Bunny Girl Senpai, of like fitting in with the atmosphere kind of thing. It might have been that show, I'm not too sure. But that was something that I'm very envious and impressed by people who don't feel they have to fit in with what is normal and what is the norm. I mean, that's what I did, and I didn't feel like bad by dropping these things, reading, drawing, and playing Pokemon, especially because in my later life now, this stuff I've eventually picked back up in some way or another. And later on in those years, when I've had this friendship, when I started getting into anime, it was originally something I wasn't particularly that, I didn't want to talk to anyone about it. I didn't want anyone to know that this is what I was sort of getting into. It was only off me posting about it on Twitter that my friends would have known about it. And again, I didn't suffer from any bullying or anything like that from watching anime, but there's certainly the classic sort of mockery you'd get in a friendship group where one person watches anime and the rest don't. Like that's always going to be present in that sort of thing where one person's doing something and the rest aren't. There's going to be a level of sort of banter there with that. But like I said, I luckily had a group of friends, and still do have a group of friends, who are just, while they certainly participate in male-centric rituals, it's not in a way that becomes toxic or dangerous or offensive in any way. And we're also just very accepting of each other's and each other's hobbies and everything like that. In that sort of school environment where those male-centric sort of rituals and hobbies are what, as a boy, you're supposed to lean towards and go towards. I'm pretty lucky. I feel like I haven't slipped into any of those, or while at one point maybe I was partaking in them when I was like in my mid-teens, it's not something that stayed with me or stuck with me. It is interesting to look back on, because I never had any tough experiences in that regard, but I certainly don't consider myself a normal British guy, if that makes sense. I'm not like the other sort of things, not like that. It's like, well, I do like football, and I do like, I mean, I suppose that's it, because I don't particularly enjoy drinking a lot. I don't like going out and having beers a lot. It's only every now and then. Don't even like beer, it tastes like arse. But as someone who spends most of their time engaged in fiction, talking about fiction on a camera, I can imagine most British people, guys, especially my age, aren't doing that. But that's the thing is with me, I do that, and I also do like to watch the football and bet and drink every now and then. It's important to have a balance of these things and not sort of make one your entire personality and revolve your whole life around it, like a lot of these male-centric hobbies end up doing. Kasamachi put it in a really interesting way. Who can gain the most while trying the least is a really cool way to put it. No one wants to be shown putting in a lot of effort in these groups. Again, similarly, like I mentioned earlier, luckily in my group, you could willingly show effort to these certain things, and you wouldn't it wouldn't come with any consequences or mockery or anything like that. But in general, trying hard isn't something that is looked upon positively in these groups. But yeah, I went on a bit of a rant about that whole thing with Kasamachi and him, because I was really kind of glad to hear it in an anime, and I found it pretty relatable. So it was a cool moment, and I'm glad we had that, because I feel like it's important theming when we've had a focus on the women mostly, and the patriarchal society, the expectations of women in society, especially in a Japanese society. It's interesting to have the flip side as well. While it has much less consequences, it is certainly something that can completely suck the individualism out of a person and lead them down dangerous paths, both literally and ideologically as well. So yeah, I'm glad they kind of just touched upon that. It's not something they need to delve into deeply, because the male characters we have in the show sort of represent that in a way that is easy to understand for us. We have Kasamachi and the other guy who are very positive figures in the show, and letting us know that these are two characters that managed to get out of that. The other male characters we know are his dad, who we just saw like a little flashback of him being like, "You're a man, stop crying." He's clearly been in that his entire life. And then Asa's dad, who is completely detached from it all. We don't even know anything about him. Like he's just not even present. You can only assume, based on his personality we've seen, or lack of personality we've seen, he is also someone who has been caught up in these male-centric rituals in one way or another. Yeah, just really interesting to have that stuff in the show, especially alongside what we have already. But I'm glad and again, really impressive of the show just to sort of touch upon it really lightly, and we're not gonna. That's not something we have to return to at all. We understand the message it's trying to send. It's just the show's just really efficient in that way. And maybe the manga explores more of these themes, but we're talking about the anime, and the anime is really good at doing those things in a short amount of time without having to expand on them. I just Asa being like straight and earnest with Makio, just being very honest and straightforward with her. These interactions at the table no longer have any sort of anything that feels like it needs addressing, or any tension or any awkwardness. They feel incredibly natural now. They're at a point, well, Asa's mostly at a point where she's developed so much in a positive way that these interactions just feel different now. Everything, the way they interact, just feels completely different compared to how it was at the start. This sort of exemplified that really well, is where the old Asa might have turned around and asked that question, oh, is whatever my mum wrote, was it true? She knows she doesn't have an answer to that. She knows she wouldn't be able to answer that, so she just shrugs it off and just carries on with her day. Really good way to sort of show that there. And these two, very cute. Look at that. Look at them blushing. I want to know, what the hell is her name? I wonder if we get more of her in the manga. I'd love to see that. Even just these little tidbits here of these characters, and like, yeah, Yoshimura, that was his name. Yeah, this whole sequence from here on out, it really captured me, this part onwards. Asa literally making her own room, her own place. It's just really, really beautiful, symbolically and thematically, what this place means for Asa. The light, we see her literally carrying the light in the desert. I just love, I don't know, just her whole demeanour here is very pleasant and nice and innocent in a very good way, and whimsical. The voice acting is really, really good, to sort of show how much of a better place Asa is. And then Makio obviously getting a bit poetic about it, and a little sentimental. This part as well. The voice acting again really strong, having her start like fall upon her words here. And Makio's like, she seems a bit scared here. She's worried, like a parent would be. But Asa's idea and conclusion is incredibly mature. It's incredibly beyond her age, something that Makio didn't think of, or yeah. And we get this comparison shot of when Makio first saw Asa after the death, asleep, sees her in the desert, barely awake, and then we get the switch back to reality. Yeah, like she feels this way. We discussed this. We had this conversation with Juno in the previous episode, that this is no longer a relationship that you can just move on from or decide when it's done. This is now like it's something that you're in for life now. This is you have strong feelings for each other. Also the drawings here, the light, the way they're drawing the lamp, and the way the light reflects off it is really beautiful and really detailed. And yeah, as I was mentioning, in terms of like how important symbolically this is for Asa, this space that she's created, having her literally carry the lamp in the desert, watering what grows there. She's learning to, I don't know if she's learning to accept her loneliness or embrace it. I think embrace it is a better way to put it here, is Asa learning to live with that side of her, and in a way that Makio has as well, in a way that Makio's accepted that, in a way that Asa's looked at that part of Makio often in the past and looked at it very negatively. How is she able to live like this? But Asa's learning how. Asa's beginning to understand what it means to live on your own terms and embrace your flaws and embrace the uglier things in your life. And then we get this scene. This ending, like I mentioned, is very poignant, strong point to end on, great drawings as well. Are we building a possible romantic angle here, or what are we building here? I'm unsure, because Asa has a lot of friends, a lot of close friends, a lot of people she can turn to. But outside of Emery and obviously Makio, is there anyone that truly understands her in a deeper way? I don't think Asa could talk about the sort of stuff she's talked about with Makio, with Emery, as much as I love her. It's not that kind of that friendship. I don't mean that in like a depth or an importance way, but there are friends that you have that mean the world to you, but there's certain things you just don't talk about with them. What could she be to Asa here? What could they be? I'm really interested to find out, because obviously we have one episode left. Are we gonna go, like I said, go on a more romantic angle? Is it going to be maybe just a sort of one and done interaction where we have, her name is Chi Chi, right? I think that's her name, where she's obviously, after what's happened with the hospital and what came out in the media, she's stuck, and she's stuck in a similar way that Asa was previously. Are we going to have Asa be able to possibly give her advice or help her move on, and have that be sort of representative of Asa's progression and development throughout the show, her being able to pass on that knowledge that she learnt from Makio onto this person? I don't know. Or maybe it might be romantic or just a friendship, I don't know. But they've built up this interaction, and I'm really excited to see it. We didn't have anything from Chi Chi this episode, like when we had last episode where she was obviously not coming to school at all, and we didn't have anything beyond that. And now her first a look at her after that is with Asa. I'm really interested to see this, because we only have one episode left, unfortunately. But yeah, what a really cool episode. And they're really sad. Only have one episode left. I could watch this show forever, to be honest. It really is that good. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching again, and I'll see you guys next week for the final episode. Bye.